Focus. Today we're going to be talking about some things Arsenal fans are absolutely loving right now. Arsenal are competing in all four fronts. Obviously, Premier League, top of the Premier League, doing very well at the moment. I wouldn't have said that last week when we thought we dropped points, but we are doing well. So that's the Premier League. We're doing absolutely well in the League Cup quarterfinals. I think I'll say we've got one leg in the finals, which is hopefully we can finish them off, finish Chelsea off, and obviously we're in the fourth round of the FA Cup, and now we have basically we might as well say we've won we have won the table, haven't we? On top of the Champions League. I don't think anyone could go on top of us now. It's only one more game. So yeah, so Arsenal's won that table. They're in the last 16, and now which is good for Arsenal because Manchester City lost. I'm trying to think of the team because Manchester City lost. That means Arsenal now have their home game. So there's two legs. They'll have the first game away, and every home game will be second at the Emirates, which is a good thing. So I'm thinking
also on that, Pat. That's also a benefit because after all of our away games, in the Champions League, we've got a home game in the Premier League.
Yeah. Good point. And so, as you can see now, I've got my partners in crime with me. I've got Jake with me, and I've got Adam with me, and we're gonna dig deep into. I just want to talk about the season really in a whole. So anyway, it's good to see you, Jake, and good to see Adam.
You too,
mate.
Right. So let's just dive into how are we feeling right now. About how are we feeling right now as Arsenal fans? So right now, emotionally, it's good. The feeling's good. As an Arsenal fan, Adam, how are you feeling? I'm not just talking about the game. I'm talking about overall. It's halfway through the Premier League. How are you feeling right now?
Really good for a number of reasons. I mean, I think the injuries are kind of loosening up for us. Like we seem to have got through the bad period with all the injuries, and we're still fighting on all four fronts, as you said. I don't want to use the Q word now, but people are starting to say about quadruple. And I don't know. It's just I think not only are we going really well and injuries are coming back, the injury kind of list is shortening. City are really struggling. European wise, again, like I don't think, Munich aside, and we've beaten them already this year. No one's really setting it alight. PSG, again, people talk about the big threats. They lost at Sporting this week and not guaranteed a top 8 finish. So again, it's not only the fact we're going really well, it seems that no one else is really kind of setting it alight as well. And that's why I think, people are loosely starting to talk about winning, 2 to 4 trophies, because I just think there's not many teams that will beat us with the organisation we've got at the moment. So no, it's really good. I mean, again, to get through January with big wins in 4 different competitions, extend the Premier League lead, as you say, kind of guarantee the top 2 spots in the Champions League, which was all we needed. Really good. I mean, it's funny, like obviously after the Forest game, it felt like a bit of a deflating one. But no, if you're taking the season on a whole at the moment, we can't ask for much more.
What do you say, Jake?
I think if we asked anyone at the start of the season, and we were told that we were going to be 7 points clear in the Premier League, haven't lost in the Champions League, won every game, got a good team in the FA Cup at home, and obviously in the League Cup semi-finals, we would have snapped their hand off. So, to be fair, it was a bit deflating after the Forest game because we know we're not conceding anything really, and we just need to take our chances. But overall, we're in a very, very, very strong position. We look very, very hard to beat, and things are starting to click. So fingers crossed we can maybe not the quadruple, but it would be very, very nice. But two or three of them, we should hopefully go on and win.
Personally, I feel confident. Personally, I feel that we've definitely got the right players in the squad. Personally, I feel that if we can gel more. If the front three or the front two or whoever can literally give us a bit more goals, honestly, I honestly feel. I know people don't like talking about the quadruple. People might call you deluded, but I think Arsenal can win on all fronts. I really do feel they can do the quadruple. I really do. I believe in the team. I think we've got the right. I think we've definitely got the right depth. I think we've got the right mentality in players. The players are hungry, definitely hungry. You can see it. It's totally different from last season when players were getting injured and obviously the main ones were out, and you can see that little dip in belief because their main players weren't there. But now you can see it's totally different. Even if one of our main players are out, the confidence and the belief is totally there, which is a good thing. This is why I honestly believe that Arsenal can challenge on all fronts. But do you feel calm and confident, or is it just nerves? That's the feelings. It's just too good. What do you reckon, Jake?
I'm calm at the moment because we're still churning out results. We look very, very hard to beat. I never feel like we're going into a game and we're going to lose. And the way the squad has been put together, we have got a team full of leaders now. So, and the squad depth helps as well with players coming in and out of the team. But I think we're all quietly confident, but we still need to go and do the job. It's there for the taking. We still need to go and do it and go and grab it, but with both hands, because like Adam said a minute ago, Man City are off the boil, Liverpool are off the boil. This is our best chance to go and do it. And we'll find out when we get to the last stages of the competitions. But I think we're made for Europe. I think Prem, we're always going to struggle, not struggle in the Prem, but all the teams are going to come up with that low block. So every game's going to be very, very similar, where we're going to be fighting that low block every game. And I think the game against Inter, we saw how devastating we can be in attack, especially with our mate Gyökeres having that space in behind to run into, and he can show that he can be devastating when he wants to. So yeah, I think we're all quietly confident that we can do it, but it's all based on the last 3 years, how close we've been. We don't want to go full hog yet. We need to go and we know we have to go and do the job, and we can't falter in March, April, basically.
I agree. Do you feel calm? Do you feel calm and confident, or do you feel the feeling just too good at the moment, Adam?
No, I'm calm and confident. As I say, I think City's form has really put some impetus into us. I think it's not the fact that City are dropping points; they're getting battered. You know, United and Bodo have absolutely walloped them. You know, if City were playing as well as they did, you know, like at Newcastle in the Carabao Cup, and he started putting a few results together, I'd start getting a little bit nervous because we've looked a little bit nervy in the league ourselves. But the fact that, you know, United could have hit 5 against them, Bodo, I didn't see the game, but I heard they could have hit 5 against them as well. So it's not like, you know, they're looking as you'd always think of them as their main threats, probably on both fronts, Champions League and Prem. And if they're that far off of it, I think it does take a little bit of pressure off, because as Jake said, we're not going to concede many goals, so we will win games 1-0 if we don't play that well, especially at home. I don't see many teams keeping us out, so I just think, I think if it gives any more than 7 points, I think City almost feel like it's like an element of they don't feel they can do it now, and I think that will come off. And I think where I'm calm and confident at the moment is, I think, as we said, Wigan at home, we're getting a little bit lucky with the draws at the moment. Pompey followed by Wigan. Last year we had United at home. The year before, City away. We've been quite lucky with the draws we've had. We've been able to rotate in these competitions. Like, I don't feel that we're overcooked on minutes. You know, I think there was an article in BBC about how many minutes Haaland's played. But, you know, Saka's come back from injury. Gabriel's come back from injury. We've had players that haven't played loads of football this season. Whereas this time last year, you started seeing the signs of fatigue coming in quite early. And the squad's big enough now that we can rotate. You know, when you go into San Siro, wherever you are in the group stage, to not be able to like rest your captain, rest Declan Rice, you know, there's 4 or 5 players that didn't play that would normally play in the league, and that was massive. And to go there and win 3-1 with that as well was a big statement. So yeah, I'm calm, and again, I'm not trying to get too ahead of myself with the quadruple, but as you said, I don't see a reason. I don't see many teams beating us in any of the competitions. So momentum gathers, and I think if we can win the Carabao, then anything's possible.
Something just coming to my mind. I mean, I don't know if this is going to be a downer, but if Arsenal was going to slip up in any competition, in which competition do you feel, Jake, you can see Arsenal slipping?
I think we can only beat ourselves. I don't think any team's going to outright beat us. Obviously, a final is a final. If we ever get to if we get to a final, it's one 90-minute game. But I don't see many teams beating us. To be perfectly honest with you, obviously, if you're going to say anything, I'd prefer it to be the Carabao Cup, because obviously we've been waiting so long for a league, and obviously the Champions League would be massive for us. But again, I just don't see, unless we do it to ourselves, I just don't see us, especially with our defence, I just don't see us, touch wood, letting it go to waste.
You agree with that, Adam?
I think the FA Cup's the most likely, because I think if you're looking, the draw, you're never sure who you're going to get. If we were going to Anfield or the Etihad away in the middle of like some big league games and we rotated, then I'd be a little bit worried. I think that's the most likely that we'd slip up in. And I think especially because Arteta's won it with Arsenal, I think if we are fighting on 4 fronts and it costs us like a champion, I think the Champions Leagues are more important, the league's more important. So I think that's most likely where we'd slip up. Again, I say a big draw against a top 6 side away, a Villa, a City, and someone like that, where we rotated a few players, then I think that we'd be a little bit susceptible, especially if we start thinking, okay, Champions League quarterfinal coming up, Prem's 6 or 7 points. I think he would not sacrifice the FA Cup, but I think it'd be the one he'd take least seriously. I think the fact, I would always say the Carabao normally, but the fact we're one step away from the final, I think the FA Cup's probably the one that you'd have to sacrifice if you had to pick one of the 4 at the moment, I'd say. But I still, as Jake said, I still think the squad's big, good enough to go and win a lot of those games. But I think if we got a bad draw,
even though the FA Cup outweighs the League Cup.
Yeah, I do, but I think the fact we're in the 4th round, as I say, with a lot of games left, and we're literally like at 80% to Wembley, I think then you start prioritising that, and especially it's the first one you can win. I think the FA Cup finals I think it's the 15th or 16th of May, so that's going to be 2 weeks away from the end of the season, probably like a few days after the Champions League semi-final. I think if we are to win the FA Cup, it will be, we're going to have to get a little bit lucky with a draw, or the kind of the second string are going to have to really play well, because I don't think we'll play the best 11 in that if we're fighting on all other fronts at the same time.
So out of all 4 competition, which ones excite you the most at this stage?
The league for me at the moment, I think, because it's been so long, and I know we haven't won the Champions League, but the league's always the bread and butter. And I think if we do win the league, I think the league, the position we're in, big favourites. We are favourites of the Champions League, but there's some good sides in the Champions League, and I'd love to win it. Don't get me wrong. I'd absolutely love to win it, but I think the league's one that if you said to me you can win one this season, I'd pick the league.
You agree, Jake?
I want 2 trophies minimum, but yeah, the league will be a big statement, I think, and I think for Arteta as well, being so close over the last 3 years. I know we went close in the Champions League last year in the semis and probably should have beat PSG, but like we said, I think the league will be a big statement and hopefully move on to bigger things and better things for the club.
So does this season excites you? Sorry, excitement. Yeah. Does this season feels different to other seasons?
Yeah, it's because we're not relying on an 11 where Saka's playing 90 minutes for 38 games. Same with Rice, same with Saliba, Gabriel. We've got an opportunity now. We can fight on all 4 fronts, like Man City have done and showed with their squad depth over the years. So that's the difference this year, is that we can rest players. And if you said 3 years ago we're going to be resting Rice in a Inter away, you'd be going, what the hell's going on? but we've got the players like Marino to come in and other players that we've brought in that can do a job, and we're not dropping the level as much as we were previously.
Same question, Adam.
Yeah, I don't think we're looking like, even the games we're dropping points in. I mean, Forest didn't have a shot on target last week, and we're dropping points. Yeah, again, last year we'd have lost games 1-0, like we did. In fact, West Ham at home. Like, I don't see that performance innocent at the moment. I think we could drop points in the league. I really do, but I don't think it'll be losses. I think it'll be like 0-0s and 1-1s. And I think if people are going to catch us, they're going to have to go on a really big winning run. And that's where it feels different this year. I think we can not afford to drop points, but I think we're not going to lose too many games because we're so tight and we're tactically so structured not to lose games. I just don't see this losing so many. So like, if we're going to drop 2 points, City or Villa are going to have to win 4 or 5 games on the bounce to get near us at the moment with a 7-point lead, because I think we're only going to drop if we drew 3, we're still going to have, that's still 6 points drops. They have to win those 3, and that games are running out as well. 16 games. At what point do they kind of make a challenge? We've fought a little bit the last 2 games, and we've extended our lead. That's the issue for the other teams chasing us, that we're not playing brilliantly in the league at the moment. We've had a little bit of a blip, and we've gone ahead and we've gone further ahead, and that's more of a worry for them than us.
I think we've learned a lesson in a way over the last couple of years as well. And these players, you can see, it's like, after I can't remember, I think it was Gyökeres's goal yesterday or on Tuesday. Sorry, it's like you got Ben White and Saliba arguing about defending.
Say that again.
Did you not see Ben White and Saliba arguing?
I saw him having a chat. I saw him, but what was that about? I think
it's just, we've got a team of winners now, and it's just we cannot drop our standards, even though we're 3-1 up away at the San Siro, and we're going on to win the game quite comfortably, I thought. I think even Rice and that assistant manager the week before, I think it's just we're so hungry for this. And
are we starting to pick holes?
Nothing's a positive.
No, that's the total opposite. Yeah. I think we're not dropping standards. We're checking each other to make sure that everyone's on it 100% of the time, so we don't have that feeling and pain from the last 2-3 years.
It's funny when you mention that, Jake. I know, I've always watched when we concede a goal, especially away from home, and we concede a goal and the crowd get out for it. Like, there was a time, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, when we were really struggling. We conceded a goal and you could feel the shoulders slump. Like, everyone was trudging back to the halfway line. It was like, oh fuck, here we go. Like, it's almost like the momentum's changed. And on the other day, when Inter scored, there was like, again, like a big kind of, everyone was like, come on then, let's go again. And it was back to the halfway line. And I felt like we were going to score in the next 5 minutes. Like, we kind of straight back on top. And that's the difference. The mentality feels like now we don't really worry about setbacks in the game too much. We've had it a few times recently. Pompey, Portsmouth go 1-0 up. A few years ago, we lost at Forest, didn't we, when they were in the Championship in the FA Cup, and we went 1-0 down and we just shit ourselves. And with Pompey, it was like straight back to 1-1 in 5 minutes. And it feels like it's like, okay, they've scored, but we'll get back in this game now. And that's the mentality difference. I think we believe in ourselves now. We don't really worry too much if something goes wrong. And that's why we haven't lost too many games this year, because we are calm and composed, and we have a lot of faith in ourselves.
Yeah. All right. Well, I just want to say to the Arsenal fans, where do you rank this amongst Arsenal's favourite seasons right now? So, I mean, even though we haven't won anything yet, but how things are going, how you feel things are going. And just one more thing. I mean, I want to ask, honest guys, are Arsenal genuinely contenders on all fronts, or is there some doubts in our little mind? Is there a doubt in our mind somewhere? I mean, I haven't got a doubt. I lie, but I do. You know what I mean?
It's hard. We've got everything. We've got everything there for us to do this. As I said before, we're only going to shoot ourselves in the foot if we do it. I don't think anyone else is going to take it away from us. If anything's going to happen, it's going to be ourselves. But I think the mentality of the players now, and even Arteta, he's not going to let standards drop. Forest was a very, very hard game. To be fair, we had 2 or 3 clear-cut chances, I'd say, to finish that game. But again, we're just not conceding anything. So I think we are there. It should be our season, but there's still a few games to go in the league, especially, and roll on Sunday and we can make another big statement.
Okay, cool. All right, look. Okay, so let's just move on. I just want to talk a little. I mean, I know we talked about the table. I mean, the Premier League, but Arsenal are on top of the Premier League. Do we think they look? Do we think they look like the best team, or is it just luck that's playing on Arsenal's side at the moment, Adam?
Definitely the best team defensively. Still kind of trying to click a little bit going forward. I think we do look the best team from consistency wise. Again, people are moaning about how boring we are and all that, but who gives a toss when we're 7 points clear? I mean, it's. I think if we won the league this year and played like this next year, I think almost if we win the league this year, we can almost kind of the shackles can come off a little bit next year, and you go a little bit more ambitious with the football. This year, I think however you get over the line, you get over the line. Thierry Henry was saying it on Monday night. The league's changed and it's become a set piece league, and we're the best at it. So you can moan all you want, but if that's the league, then you find a way to win.
But isn't that exactly moaning, right. Jake? Isn't that moaning? And what Adam just talked about, because people are talking about how Arsenal's playing, how Arsenal's winning. Isn't that just to cover the big holes, how other teams are playing?
100%.
Do you know? Because they're taking their eyes off their own.
They're taking the shine of us. If we did win it, it's the worst league ever. The football's not great.
Yeah.
100%. They're trying to take the shine off it, but we are taking advantage of something that we're very, very, very good at.
Yeah. When has ever you ever heard? I mean, apart from this season, when have you heard fans used to moan about or pundits talked about set pieces? Ever brought that up? When have you ever heard anyone bringing them sort of things up?
Chelsea were a bit boring.
Sorry.
Yeah, but Pat's right. Set piece. Well, we're not even that far ahead. United and Spurs have got similar numbers to us. It's a myth. Again, like it was a narrative 3-4 months ago. We're still scoring goals from set pieces, but we're not. We've scored a lot of open play goals in the last 2 months. But who cares? I mean, if we won the league, with 15 own goals from 1-0 wins from set pieces, I wouldn't give a toss. Honestly, I don't get how we get to line this.
Shit themselves now.
But I understand. If I'm honest, I can understand why fans are doing it, because it's a banter. They want to put down that team. But when you see professionals start talking about it, it makes you wonder. Well, for me, it does. It makes you wonder, why are professionals, especially like the pundits, are bringing in this narrative, knowing that set piece has been there from day dot?
I think what it is, I don't think the league is a great spectacle. I don't disagree on that. At the moment, if you take the Prem as a whole this season, it's not been a great watch. I don't just mean Arsenal. There's not been many
last season, because no one challenged him.
Yeah, I know the stats kind of back it. We know they're saying there's been more 0-0s at this point than the whole of last season. What I think is, and again, I'm not criticizing Arsenal. I think like what's happened is that everyone's become very structured. Everyone's setting up for set pieces. Everyone's become difficult to beat. I said even Wolves and Burnley. Like Burnley have taken a couple of batterings, but no one's been really even done 6 or 7-0 this year. Wolves are bottom, but they've not really been spanked by too many teams. They've lost a lot of games by one or two goals. And I think that's the people's problem with this year, is that like there's not been too many classics. Everyone's kind of feeling each other out. And what they don't like about it is, because the league's gone like that and Arsenal found a way, because Arsenal have always been the easy target with, soft underbelly, not very good at set pieces, don't like it on a cold Wednesday night in Stoke. There's always been those narratives around Arsenal, and suddenly we're the best when it's become a difficult league. It doesn't really sit very well with pundits, because we found a way and that's what Chelsea did. They always found a way. City always found a way. United always found a way. It's like, this isn't Arsenal. We're not normally the ones that find the solution before everyone else. And I think it's become like an easy stick to beat us with, because people don't want us to win.
I think the game has changed, though. I think it's all about these little percentages now, where we can. It's like, look at the amount of teams that are doing long throw-ins now. You know what I mean?
Do you know something? It's not that things have changed. what people need to understand is, I mean, yeah, things have changed, all right, but the majority of teams, Arsenal are the highest team, the only team that most teams does low blocks. Arsenal have had more teams in the Premier League by far, who does low blocks. Every single team, barring even City, I was going to say barring City, when Arsenal played City and we got the 1-1, even City reverted to the low blocks because that's the only way to stop Arsenal. Every single team. Now, everyone's saying, "Oh, it's boring." Well, then you should look at your team and say you're playing boring football. Would you agree? Because you're the one that's doing low blocks.
The problem is, Pat, you're right, and what Jake said earlier is spot on. Though, when you don't do a low block against us, we batter you.
That's what we're saying in Europe,
and that's what the best two teams we've played on paper outside of the Premier League are Inter and Bayern Munich. We beat them both in 3-1, and that's the problem.
But then whose fault is that? Is that Arsenal's fault? Or
no, it's not our fault. No, but see, that's the problem. It's like
you should be looking at your own team.
Yeah, but they're not going to go at us because they know we'll pick them off, and that's the saying. Like Champions League. Like you said a minute ago, Jake, people say about it's the worst league of all time. Now, I think, was it 5 of the top 8 in the Champions League are Prem sides, including Spurs and Newcastle. We're not setting it alight in the league. And, not only that, we are, as I say, we've won all 7 games. Not many teams have won all 7 games, and that includes Bayern Munich and Inter Milan with rotation as well. So I think that's the thing. Teams knowing the only way to get anything off Arsenal is to do what Forest did last week and hang on for dear life, even at home. And that's the issue. Like, people aren't. The more we do this to Inter and Bayern Munich, the less likely Premier League teams are to come and have a go. Now, United, it's an interesting one on Sunday. Will United come and have a go with Carrick? I don't know, because Carrick's a bit. I know with Middlesbrough they were quite tight, but he came through that United culture of like, you have a go wherever you go. Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how they set up on Sunday, because they probably know they're not going to be able to beat us in a footballing match at the Emirates. So. But if they do have a go, then bring it on. Because if they come and stifle us, it'll be a pain. But if they have a go, then great.
I was just looking for something on my phone, so if I can show it to you guys, because I saw something on Instagram where one fan was talking about the Champions League, because you just remind me of it, Adam, when you're talking about the Champions League has been. What did you say? It was a bit boring. Did you say?
No, I was just saying like how everyone's saying the Prem.
Yeah, but they talked about the Champions League.
Yeah, but I was saying like how many English teams are in the top 8 of the Champions League, and how well they're doing against European sides.
But then something else.
It's because European teams come out and play against.
Oh yeah, they have a go at us. They actually play
now. There's a new narrative. There's a new narrative coming out in the. What I've just heard earlier today is where they talk. This fan was talking about that. They are making the the Champions League, easier for Arsenal to win. Now, I thought, what? No, sorry, exactly. So what he said is, UEFA has changed the method, because Arsenal, they're giving Arsenal an advantage because Arsenal's now playing every home game second. They play the second leg. They played before the second leg at home. So that's giving Arsenal an advantage.
That was the rule last season.
Now, you still got to put yourself in a position to do that.
I wish I could fight, because they found another narrative. Now, first it was the Premier League, now it's the Champions League. They're trying to water it down. They're trying to belittle the Champions League because where Arsenal is.
Yeah, but Liverpool finished top last year and they played PSG straight away.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, I get you, but I thought I kept it, but I didn't. But there's, like I said, look out for this new narrative now that Arsenal has.
People will find anything, Pat. This is it. I think now it's every game that goes by. It's like, we need to find something else against Arsenal, because we're winning every game. I see it was Jamie O'Hara the other day was saying about he's going to wave the white flag about winning the league this year. People don't want to talk about us winning more than one. It's weird. I said to my mate the other day, like, again, if someone said to me, you're only going to win the league, I'd be happy. But there's a small part of me that going like, like, if we won one now, you go, it's a little bit disappointing. And that's not an arrogant thing or like, Yeah, and that's it. You know, you're at this point and you go, I know Liverpool were exactly the same position we were last year, weren't they? They were obviously heading to the Carabao Cup final, just won the Champions League group stage, and they ended up with one. I think if they were honest last year, as much as they would love winning the league, they probably thought, there was a chance they'd go and win another one. And I think I'd be like that. You know, we want to win a trophy. Don't get me wrong, and I think that's the league is great, but there is an element of like, if we don't win two, is it been a little bit of a failure at this point? I don't know. It's that probably sounds a bit kind of.
You entitled bastard.
I don't know. You're a bit entitled, yeah.
I mean,
I know what you mean.
I mean, yeah. Look, like I said, they're trying to find every nook and cranny, everything to make themselves feel better, and in the process of bringing Arsenal down, instead of looking at their own team, they know that their team ain't playing well. They know that their team has either dropped a level or Arsenal's gone another level. And I believe it's Arsenal's gone another level because of the squad that they've got and the depth that they've got. But it's just, for me, I find that ironic. But
they can't find anything because they can't say anything. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing else to say.
Oh, I mean, again, two consecutive draws, but seven games unbeaten. Positive or a warning sign?
It's more than that, isn't it?
No,
was that Villa 7 games ago? Was it?
I think it's 7. Yeah, I think it's 7 games.
Think.
But anyway, what do you reckon? Positive or a warning sign?
It's a little bit of both, I think. It's again, we can't draw every game 0-0 to the end of the season. We have to find a way. My slight criticism of last Saturday, I think we all thought it as well, was, as Jake said, Forest were offering nothing. I think we could have got a little bit more attacking with 20, 30 minutes to go. I think if Forest had still been playing now, they wouldn't have scored. And I think there was an element there where we could have thrown on 2 or 3 more, or like, or kind of just, or change the formation a little bit. There was chances, but it was weird. At the end, it was like, you could say it was 0-0, and it was like, we haven't really like kind of thrown the Alamo. It wasn't the Alamo or thrown the kitchen sink at them in the last 15 minutes. I think we could have afforded to, because the defence is that good. That's the only criticism I had of last Saturday, was it felt a little bit tentative when I think we could have really had a go.
We've got to go and grab it with both hands, and similar performance to Liverpool, where it was just a bit flat. But still, we had the chances to kill the game. Saka was very unlucky with that header. Rice had a shot outside the box that the keeper parried. I can't think of the other two, but we just had we did have chances, and we could have been 11 points clear now.
Mm-hmm. I think the one thing is, there's no worries about midweek this week. We can play Gunnosaurus on Wednesday if we want to. It's like, that is literally like the most dead rubber of dead rubbers you'll ever get in the Champions League.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I'm
very cautious
to see, mate.
Yeah, but if we lose it, as you said, Pat, we won the group, innit? And Kyrat, no disrespect to him, are being walloped by Club Brugge at home. Like if we play,
if he loses that, he has to be sacked. Get him out.
No, I wouldn't go that far. Look, Arsenal has conceded just 0.64 goals in the per game this season. Is this the defense foundation of a title push?
We've got one of the best partnerships, like probably I've seen at Arsenal, obviously since the Invincibles, I'd say. And most of our success over the last 2-3 years, as I feel, is obviously without a trophy, has been based on our defence with Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, and obviously the players that we've added this year as well, in Capier, Calafiori the year before. Obviously Raya, who's been unbelievable for us. So that's set the foundation for us to be at the top. But now we need the other end to start clicking and drive us home and get these trophies for us. But yeah, the defence has been unbelievable. I think
this is where Arteta doesn't get enough credit. I remember going up to Anfield, the Carabao semi-final. I think it was 4 years ago. It was either 21 or 22. And we drew 0-0 up there after Xhaka got sent off in the first 20 minutes. And that was the night I felt that we changed. It was, you know, we'd been up to Anfield and the Etihad and the Stamford Bridge under the latter years of Wenger and the early years of Arteta, and we'd been hit for 5, 6, you know. Yeah, everywhere we went, we were getting battered, the top 6 teams. And we went there that night, and with Anfield, we played 65 minutes with 10 men, and they just couldn't break us down. And it was the first night, oh, there goes Jake. It was the first night I felt that I thought, okay, Arteta's getting the shape.
Okay, there goes
Adam. This team. So here he is.
Sorry, mate. Adam, you
went all robotic.
Okay. You went robotic there, mate.
Oh yeah, Jake disappeared from me as well.
Yeah,
I was just saying, look, that night when we drew 0-0 up there with 10 men, the personnel wasn't brilliant on paper, but the whole shape of the team was organised, and it was the first night I thought, okay, Arteta's doing something here. Like, yeah, we've got like a new plan ahead, and once you got the players in place, and he kind of formulated that plan into better players, and you can see why we're so hard to break down. And I don't think he gets enough credit. I think, you know, people talk about the defense and people talk about him being a negative coach, but it's not easy to keep clean sheets in all these competitions, and that's why I think he's an underrated coach. I think, you know, the work they've done as good as the defense as the midfield, the shape, it doesn't matter who plays. Every time you watch it, you know, Saka, Martinelli, Trossard, they all work back, they all keep their shape, and everything about Arsenal is like it's like the early 90s Arsenal under Graham, and we did lose that a bit at the latter years. I love Wenger, but we did lose it the last 2 years of Wenger, where we were getting absolutely battered and ripped to shreds by teams. And as Jake said, I never go into a game now, whoever the opposition is, and think, okay, we're going to get cut to shreds. Like, you know, we might lose a game 1 or 2-0, 2-1 or 1-0, but I just never see it. We're always in games.
Look at when we were 4-0 up at Villa and we conceded that Watkins scored last minute. The anger and the passion that the defence had. We're 4-0 up against Villa. We've just conceded 1 goal. It's not the end of the world. Do you know what I mean? But Raya was so angry. The defenders were so angry, and I think that's what we've lacked in the past. Yeah, is the likes of Socrates, David Luiz. It's like, do you know what I mean? We're on a whole nother level now, and
some of the players at that time switched off, and that's where they've got to understand you've got to stay.
But it's not that; it's the passion for winning. Do you know what I mean? It's the passion for not conceding a goal.
Yeah, I get that. But what again? If certain players didn't switch off, they need to understand that they need to focus for that whole 100 minutes, whatever, 95 minutes, whatever it could be, 95, 100 minutes. They just until that whistle goes. So would you rather then Arsenal grinding results out, or start blowing teams away again?
I don't mind this year. As I said, I think it's about getting over the line, however you do it this year. And at the moment, the best way of doing that is to kind of not concede goals and nick games. I'm not saying we're not good enough to go and blow teams away, but there's more of a risk with that kind of football. As I say, I think next year, if we were to win the league this year, then I think the football would probably need to improve a little bit. If otherwise, fans would get a little bit restless, because I think at the moment it's like get over the line, however you do it this year. And I think if you go and add a bit more quality in the summer and you've got real good attacking threat, then I think the fans would probably demand a little bit more adventurous football in certain games. But I think this year,
do you think they'll give a flying?
Not this year.
Arsenal,
not this
year. Next year, if Arsenal does it again and win the same.
I think there'd be more. I think there'd be a slightly more of an unrest element if we were playing like we did against Forest and Liverpool every week next year. I think, especially if people thought we were the best team in the league and we could go and blow teams away. I think this year it's like, you know, again, if we stumble over, if it's 15 own goals in the next 15 games and we win the league, then it's like, you know, let's get it done. I think there'll be and again, that's an expectation of any side. I think the United side, the 90s, our side in the early 2000s, you expect to kick on after winning a league. You expect to go and do it better the next year, or kind of, you know, like kind of get even better, attract better players in. So that's why I think, I'm not saying it would be that different, but I think there'll be a slightly more pressure on us next year to kind of, you know, go a little bit more free flowing.
Do you agree with that?
By any means necessary.
That's honestly, like I agree with that one.
By any means necessary.
Any means necessary. I do agree.
With Arteta as well, you've got to remember he's a very, very cautious manager, and very, very everything's details. And I think if we were to go gung ho, we would concede more goals. Not that would be a problem, because I think we would do well and score more than the other teams. But I'd rather be cautious and keep these clean sheets. And if it has to be 2-0, 2-1, or 1-0. I'll take that all day if we come home with the league and Champions League, whatever it may be. But yeah, I knew we had that run when Arteta a couple of years back where we were 6-0 Sheffield United, 5-0 Burnley, 5-0, 6-0 West Ham, whatever it was. But those are the sides you were playing against, and teams have not worked us out now because we're still top of the league and dominant, I think. But every team that we play, especially in the Premier League, is going to sit low block, and we've got to try and work it out. So yeah, it's making it harder and harder for us to go and smash teams 4-5-0.
Okay. People who's watching, I want to ask you, is Arsenal defence winning them the league, or do we need to go out and get more goals? Let me know what you think in the chat. And yeah, anyone good, we'll read it out for them. Just quickly move on to the Nottingham Forest game. We didn't really speak about the Forest game. Obviously, it was a 0-0 draw. Forest did look good, if I'm honest. Was that a good point, or is that a good point, or 2 points dropped, Adam?
If I had to say 2 points dropped, I would say, because I think if you look at Forest, I don't think they're a great side. If you're, I think the XG against us was literally 0, wasn't it? So if a team's not even trying to threaten your goal, then I think you've got to look at the 2 points dropped if you haven't won the game. The only thing that made it a point gained was the City result. I think if someone said to us before the game we're going to draw 0-0 at Forest, it doesn't matter how it was, you go, okay, it's 2 points dropped. Most champions over the years would go and win a team that are 16, 17 that are not really showing much ambition. So I'd say it was 2 points dropped, but in the grand scheme of things, being 7 points clear at the end of that weekend was good. So, but yeah, on that performance alone, it was 2 points drop for me.
Jake, do you think that that result showed mentality compared to the old Arsenal side?
Not really. We didn't concede anything. That's the thing. Maybe 2 years ago we would have conceded something and maybe lost that game. Well, I'm pretty sure we did lose 1-0 down there a couple of years back. It's difficult because I don't want to keep thinking, because Man City didn't win or because Liverpool didn't win. We need to focus on ourselves, and that, I think Rice showed that at the end of the game, where he was like, "Fuck's sake, done it again," sort of thing. We need to be going and beating these teams, regardless if they're very organised, set up with a low block. We didn't concede anything. We needed to take a bit more risk in that game, and I think we would have been rewarded for it. So yeah, frustrating. Liverpool, you can understand. Even at home, we were saying that we should have gone on and beat them, but they're a lot better side than Forest are, to be honest, as we all know. So yeah, I think it was 2 points dropped, and yeah, we would have been, imagine being 10 points clear now. Do you know what I mean? It's just these little things that
would have been 11.
If Man City, well, 10 points clear, wasn't it?
11.
We're 7 points clear now, though.
No.
Oh yeah, so it would have been 9. It would have been 9 points.
But 11 with Liverpool as well. Yeah.
11 with Liverpool. Okay, yeah. Quick maths. So yeah, these games are. But then you've got to look at it, the bigger picture now. 16 games to go, 7 points clear. Again, we can only shoot ourselves in the foot. So hopefully we'll learn from these performances that we need to go and grab it with both hands.
Are Arsenal becoming harder to beat, even when they're not playing at their best, Adam?
Definitely, yeah. As I said, I don't see us losing many games, and I think, you know, again, we say that about mentality. Away games have always notoriously you go some grounds and think, oh, like, this is going to be a tough night tonight. And although we dropped points there last week, I don't really worry about too many games in the league. Even last, you know, San Siro on Tuesday. I was saying to Bobby at the time, you know, like, you guys go back to San Siro, I think, Jesus Christ, San Siro, like, this is going to be a nightmare. And the team, even the warm up, like, you could tell it was like, we're here to win tonight. Like, we don't fear this lot. Like, they're top of Serie A, Champions League finalists last year. Like, we'll blow them away. And it did look like that. It wasn't like, oh God, you know, there wasn't an aura of like, we're resting 5 players here. This bunch are a good side. We lost here last season. It was like, now we'll win. and we played like it. And that's what I'm saying. I think everywhere we go now, that's the difference in mentality. It's like, you know, we're looking at our players and going, no, we fancy it here. We won't lose the game. And if we do drop points, we're going to be pissed off here, like even if it's a 0-0.
Now, what title winners have won that game against Fulham, or would they, or manage it the same way as Arsenal did, Jake?
I think you could, in title winning seasons, you're always going to have a Forest game, a Liverpool game. If we lost it, it'd be a totally different story. So it's just the way that, yeah. The frustrating thing is because we're not conceding anything. If it was a close game and they had chance after chance after chance, and Briars had a worldie of a game, sort of thing, that's the frustrating thing where he just needs to let the handbrake off a little bit. Dare I say handbrake? Just let it off a little bit and kill games off. And yeah, that's the frustrating thing. But as I said, in a title winning season, like when we went invincible, we drew 12 games. Do you know what I mean? So you're gonna have games like that, and everyone wants to shut us down. Everyone wants to, well, try and beat us, or stop us winning this title. So, as I said, you're gonna have games like this.
Did that game show why depth is will matter later on in the season?
Yeah, I think options off the bench. I think Havertz was 2 weeks ahead. He'd have probably come on, and that's to say, like, where you change the game. And I think Liverpool again. I think it's one of those games when we win the league. You know, I'm saying when now, not even if. When we win the league,
that's what I like to hear.
Right, yeah, we won't.
Coming my way. He's getting to think. Started to turn my way. It's all
people won't. People will forget that game. Liverpool took 1 point off Forest last season when they won the league. They lost at home to them when they drew away. So, you know, again, no one remembers that now. Liverpool won the league. So I think it will be one of those games that will be complete to the back of your mind. We won't be sitting here in 12 months' time if we win the league. I remember we lost, you know, drop points at Forest, and it does happen. As Jake said, yeah, we drew at Bolton, Pompey, you know, like at home in the unbeaten season, but no one remembers that. Everyone remembers the Thierry Henry goal through, you know, running from the halfway line against Liverpool. It's one of those ones that, yeah, it was bad at the time. If you win the league, who cares? It's just like, it's a small blip. And I think the thing is, if we then go and lose on Sunday to United, then it becomes oh God, 2 points from not a possible 9. That's the thing. It's whether you back it up with a big result, and then it gets forgotten. If you beat United on Sunday, it's completely forgotten. If you lose, and it's a massive blip. And that's where like when you drop points, the next game becomes that much more important.
Yeah. Okay. Everyone in the chat, just a quick one. Was the Forest a good result? Yes or no? Just let me know. We're going to move quickly on now to the. Did we talk about the Chelsea game?
Yeah,
we did talk about
it. Last week,
yeah. So sorry, guys, we're going to talk about it. But you guys still confident? Anyone still confident about it? Still?
Yeah, I am.
Still confident, Jake?
Yes.
Even though you've seen under that new manager, he's getting them playing well.
They just beat Paphos yesterday by the skin of their teeth. So
Paphos anyway. What league are they in?
Cyprus, sorry.
I had a lads' holiday there about 10 years ago. Yeah, it's
yeah. You got a little fridge magnet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not too concerned, and yeah, we should do the job at him.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, let's move swiftly on then to the Champions League. Did anyone expected Arsenal, and be totally honest, to go 7 games unbeaten? Jake?
I didn't think we'd lose at all. I think we'd.
You didn't think we'd lose
when the draw came out. Say it again. No, probably not. I just didn't think we'd. I didn't think we'd win all 7. As a direct answer to your direct question. We'd obviously like the home game with Bayern Munich, Atletico. There's some hard ties in there, but we blew them away. Inter's always been tricky. Obviously, we lost 1-0 there last year. But again, it's the squad depth, it's the confidence. There is something different in the air this year. So, yeah. But no to your question, sorry.
Okay. Adam, did you honestly?
No, I thought we'd drop points somewhere, especially trying to trying to balance all the games. And if I'm being completely honest, once I saw the team news on Tuesday night, I did fear us a little bit. As much as I'm saying, the aura changed when I saw it, but I looked at the lineup and thought, Inter Milan away. That's a not a risky one. I think it was a risk because of the position we're in, but I did look at. I think you texted me that I said 0-0 wouldn't surprise me. I thought we'd go and be a little bit more compact. I thought with the rotation we'd go and be difficult to beat, and then we started really well, and it surprised me how progressive the football was. And Jesus, I think like Jake always says about Martinelli, Jesus is a Champions League striker. He looks so much better in the Champions League than he does in the league, and I think the competition suits him. Some of his best performances in an Arsenal shirt, even last season, have been in the Champions League before he got injured. And I read something the other day saying, like, I think Jesus will be the Champions League striker, Havertz will be in the Prem, and then Gyökeres will come on for those last 30 minutes and finish games off. And it's funny how like you have got different players for different competitions, as Jake's always said about Martinelli. And it was, I don't know, it was like the players that did come in did a really good job, and Mosquera looked great again. And it was just like the players that come in. Marino again. Marino's the unsung hero of this squad. Like you whack him up front, he scores a goal. You put him in midfield, he keeps things ticking over. And that's the thing. You look, as Jake said earlier, when we had an 11, you're always worried about other players coming in. Now you have 18 or 19 players coming in, and those 8 that come in, you don't really see much difference.
Can I quickly ask anyone if you can answer this, because this is just off the top of my head? Do you think Arteta made a savvy decision, or not, or what's the word? A smart decision, bringing Declan Rice on?
No, yellow. 100%. 100%. Have you seen the? Sorry,
before I do that, everyone in the chat, do you agree? Do you think Arteta did what do you call it? A pony or?
I'll just make 2 quick points.
Go on.
First thing, Lewis Skelly was unbelievable as well. I thought, for his confidence, and he has struggled this season with minutes and his performance, and I thought he's brilliant. Mosquera was unbelievable for his first game back. Absolute monster of performance. And the second thing, did you see the City thing with Rodri? It's apparently going to be investigated, or is that a load of bollocks?
Haven't heard that.
Oh, I've heard because he got 2 yellow cards.
2 yellow cards, and there's certain bets been placed.
Wow.
In Spain or something like that.
Well, don't know, but
that wouldn't surprise me. Then
we're going to be shutting down soon, guys. So we've got to be very quick on our toes with this one. So I'm going to start. So you guys thought it was a good decision that bringing him on, yeah?
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. Okay.
See, what I love about it was so on Declan Rice. Like if it had been like Granit Xhaka a few years ago, you'll go, yeah, he can do that. But it was not even. Rice has never put himself in a situation like that in a league game.
Totally agree. And the thing people need to understand as well, when Arsenal has played, well, I could say, there's only 2 teams in that Champions League. I'll say, Arsenal should be able to beat easily. But we got to remember, Arsenal beat Bayern Munich. We battered them. That's a fact. We battered them. Arsenal battered Atletico Madrid. We battered them. Arsenal battered, and I'm going to say it still anyway, Inter Milan. Now, these are 3 teams who you would class them as in the top 5 in Europe.
Yeah,
in the top 5. Yeah. Arsenal literally dismantled them. Now, my question is to everyone is this. Does Arsenal now prove they belong in the amongst the elites in Europe again?
Yeah, I think last year, obviously, being that close to the final, I think people are looking up at, and even outside the ground the other day, there was a lot of Inter Arsenal half and half scarves, and I couldn't believe how many Inter fans had bought the half and half scarf as well. It was almost like we were a big pull. Back in the day, like we'd get Inter Milan over there, and it was or an AC Milan, and it felt like Arsenal were in town, and this is a massive game, and these are the Champions League favourites, and everyone was kind of up for it. And that's the thing with us this year. I think it is. I actually think the way we're playing against European teams, the team I'd want to avoid, I think Munich will still be tough. As much as we beat him over 2 legs, I still think Munich will be a tight game. But I would actually want to avoid Liverpool out of anyone. I think domestically, you know, again, we've not got great results against Liverpool the last couple of years, and they would worry me more than even like a Bayern Munich, Real Madrid now, or Barcelona, because again, Anfield on a European night, 2 legs. I just think, you know, they always find the result in Europe as well. And I think if we got them in a quarter or semi-final, I'd be going, that would be more of a worry to me. I'd rather avoid them than getting like a big European side, because everything we've just said about the way Premier League teams know to set up against us. And I think that would be my biggest worry about the Champions League. I'd rather go down a path of having the big European teams will have a go at us.
This is where Arteta needs to earn his money with these 2-legged ties. He's brilliant for a 1-game, 90-minute job. Don't get me wrong with his planning, but these latter stages of these competitions where we are playing the 2 legs is...
Let's not be negative now.
No, I'm just saying.
No negativity at the moment.
It's proofs in the pudding. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. In these latter stages, this is where we need to do the business now. And yeah, you're right. Liverpool, I think Barcelona. That's the only probably 2 teams I would be concerned with.
Quickly, let's talk about, because there's no way we can not talk about Gyökeres's goal. Okay? There's no way we cannot talk about it, guys. Someone jump in and tell me how did that look? What a goal, how that works out.
What a pass from Martinelli.
Sorry?
What a pass from Martinelli.
Oh my goodness me.
We're never finding Gyökeres. Well, Gyökeres never has that much space. That's why I think in Europe he will get that space and can be and show that he can be devastating.
You're absolutely right to pinpoint Martinelli's pinpoint.
You know what I loved about the goal? And I was watching. I don't know if anyone saw it. Arsenal posted they had like a shooting competition in training, and it was Gyökeres, Saka, Eze. And I turned to Bobby and I was watching it, and I said, Gyökeres, you know, you can tell he's a great finisher, and he was pinging balls left, right, and centre. You know, top corner, bottom corner. And I said to Bob, like before the game, I said, if Gyökeres got the space to shoot, you know, if he would, and it was almost like it was so weird. It happened the first time he's had like a space to shoot in about 4 or 5 weeks from 20 yards, and he nails it in the top corner. And that kind of goes back to what we were saying last week about just drop 5 yards deeper. Like, you know, like if you're that good at shooting from 25 yards, just drop 5 yards deeper, and you might get a few chances to shoot, because, you know, you know, like as soon as he got a chance to shoot from that range, it was like, bang, back of the net. And as Jake just said, it was the first time he's had a little bit of space to work in weeks, and he shows what he can do in that space.
But don't forget how he scored it, though. But don't forget when he passed it. Martinelli passed it, brilliant pinpoint pass. Brilliant. Then what happened? He ran with it. Saka ran in front of him, right? But instead of Saka running straight, Saka just went off to the side a bit.
Yeah, they weren't on the same wavelength at all.
If anyone says that was a 1-2, they're fucking lying.
Yeah. Sure, and he hit the bottom of his shoe, and then obviously it just came back to Gyökeres. But honestly,
it's like you said about that video, Adam. It's like that was what they were practicing, and you could see how much Gyökeres was so competitive in that bloody little.
That was well taken. You got to give that to him, and I'm glad. I'm one, as you know, I'm always sticking up for him, and I'm so happy for him that he scored that goal. I just hope it's different in the Premier League. Obviously, we all know because of the low blocks, he's not getting the chance, he's not getting the space, and he's not helping himself, not coming, dropping back a bit. So all those things he's got to look at.
He did have a similar chance against Forest, but Murillo did very well to get back into him. But it's that sort of. That's his bread and butter. We've got exactly a couple of minutes. I'm going to round.
I think Saka was much better as well. I thought he was really dangerous. You know, like he had the.
He was. I'm still, if I'm totally honest with you, I still think there's something he's missing. Yeah. It's missing from him. His confidence in taking shots. I mean, it's going all over the place. I honestly feel that he thinks that he's playing rugby and he's playing for Bath at the moment. And
he did. To be fair, he did have one where he could have put it into Gyökeres' feet straight away.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he thinks he's playing for Saudi. I don't really know, but no, I agree. But I feel that they're, in a way, they are trying to communicate with each other now.
Saka a bit more friendlier.
and Bucharest.
They were a bit more friendlier terms, weren't they?
Sorry?
They were a bit more on friendlier terms than the other game.
Guys, look, we can carry on, but I'm going to be rounding it off now. Just going to finish off, and I'm just going to ask people in the chat again. Can Arsenal win? Can Arsenal really win the Champions League?
Big Man United game as well, mate.
Is it too soon? I don't think so. I think this is Arsenal year. I think this is something that Arsenal can do really big. This is a big moment for Arsenal. So everyone in the chat, let us know what you think. I just want to quickly talk about Manchester United before we go. I know, Adam, you want to?
No, that's all right. Okay,
yeah, it's all good. Do that quickly.
It's all good.
Look, what I was going to say, guys, and I really want your opinion, because this is a huge game, massive game. Can't underestimate this game. Man United will be coming at Arsenal. They definitely will, because of what happened against Manchester City. Their tails are up. Adam, I'm going to ask you now, how big is this game?
Huge. It's massive for momentum. I say City play Wolves. Wolves have improved, but you'd expect City to win. So the pressure's going to be on us with it. We're obviously after City again. So massive. The United Arsenal thing goes back years. It doesn't matter what United are doing. We always want to beat them. And I think.
Are you going to the game, by the way?
Yeah, well, I'm not certain yet, because I think my dad and sister might be going on Sunday. I didn't get any in the ballot, so I might be missing this first one for a while, actually. But I'm still going to try and do ticket exchange as well to get the other tickets. So I'm not certain, but huge game, and I think I think as I say, it's United 2 weeks ago under Amorim. You'd be kind of bouncing into this game thinking, easy one, but as you just said, they're bouncing into it on the back of that result against City, the performance as well. Carrick's and have got them training all week as well. That's a big advantage. United haven't played midweek, and they've had a full week to prepare for us. So it's going to be a big test. One, if we pass, I think people will go, right, Arsenal are doing it. That's how big it is. If we lose it, people will go, it's a massive wobble. If we win it, I think people will go, yeah, Arsenal are going to cruise the title now. That's how big it is.
Right. Can I just ask for you, Jacob, who's playing first, Arsenal or City?
City on Saturday. So they'll close the gap.
Okay, so what do you reckon?
It needs to be like a Spurs or Villa performance at home. We need to hit them straight away, I think, and then just go for it. As I said, it's a massive game. Their tails will be up. I think they won't play similar to what they did against City. I think they will sit back, try and contain us, and then try and hit us on the break with players like Ahmad, and their attacking players. But yeah, it's a massive game. We hate Man United, obviously. It still pisses me off that we lost to them in the FA Cup last year. Really grinds my gears. And it's going to be a massive game and a big statement again, because obviously City will close the gap. Wolves aren't going to do anything at their place. So, it's going to be, the pressure's on again, and we need to deliver.
Okay, quickly, Adam, goal prediction?
2-1.
2-1. Jake?
I'll go 3-1.
Go 3-1. Brilliant. Right, guys, everyone in the chat, please let us know what your predictions are. What do you think the scores are going to be? Tell us how you feel about the game. Is it a massive game, a huge game? Would you guys just say yes or no, quickly? Biggest game of the season, Adam?
No.
No? Jake?
I think every next game is the biggest game of our season.
I know, but right now, is this the big yes or no? Is this the biggest game of the season?
Because we're gonna be in finals.
I honestly think it is, because like what you said before, Adam, Arsenal loses this. I don't know if it was you or Jake said it, but if Arsenal loses this, people will start thinking. Do you know what I mean? So if Arsenal wins this one, people will be saying, they're going to win it. Okay, so that's why I think right now this is the biggest Premier League game so far. That's what I agree. That's what I think. So look, Arsenal are flying on all fronts. Champions League done so far as the last 16 domestic cups. We're doing good. Semi-finals, not too bad. In the fourth round, FA Cup, not too bad. And also in the Premier League, top of the league. let's see. Let's see how it goes, guys. Everyone, please. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Do us a favor, please. Can everyone just subscribe? Please like. Please share it. It would be much appreciated. It would help us with this as well. And I just want to say thanks to Jake.
Thank you, boss.
I want to say thanks to Adam.
Cheers, Pat.
And I want to say thanks to everyone who's been watching and listening, guys. It's been great. And look, up the Arsenal. I honestly believe that we can win all. We can do it. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. We can do it, guys. And yeah, thanks for watching.